Alright guys, I'm back today with the John Deere 445 with the Predator conversion, and I had a couple requests for kind of an update on this. I left you kind of hanging on the last video. I wasn't quite done. So anyway, long story short, this is actually the second engine that's been in this tractor in the last month. The owner has kind of a knack for blowing things up, and believe it or not, within about a week or two of using it, the other engine was spitting oil. So you can kind of ignore that part of this because it's the owner, not the engine. So this is a workable engine conversion. Just don't blow it up, I guess. But anyway, I wanted to show you some of the things that I hadn't gotten to yet in the last video, and I'll start it up for you and kind of give you a tour. So as you can see, the side panels are left off currently, as well as the front panel. And I'll explain this. So the front panel, you can see the exhaust is right here, right where the headlight buckets go, and it's not deep enough for the headlights to fit there. Even if they did, I don't think you can get the cover, the exhaust shroud cover, back on, and so unfortunately the headlights don't fit. I will say you can put your front cover back on, and I think I might even have that just without the headlights. So if you wanted to put like a different LED headlight in place, you sure could, but this is what I've got for now. The side covers I think would fit. What you'd have to do is relocate your oil cooler, so you'd have to extend those lines and relocate that, and then you'd also have to at least relocate your throttle and ignition box up to the original position. So we just kind of opted not to do that. This is a working tractor, not really going for looks, and being an air-cooled engine, having things wide open like this was a better way to go. So I'll stand back and show you how it looks. At least having the top hood and kind of the front clip, once I get that grill back on, I think it's sitting right behind me, that improves the look quite a bit. So it's not like a number of John Deeres you see running around without a hood at all. Okay, I'll open up the hood. In the last video, sorry, it's kind of a two-handed job. In the last video, I had talked about the wiring, and that is confirmed working with jumpering those two wires to get your PTO to work. So I'll skip that. I have an electric fan installed. That's new and you can't really see it, but right in there, there's an electric fan, and this is air-cooled, so there's nothing in the radiator. However, there's transmission fluid, I think it is, that or power steering, running through like a separate circuit in the radiator. So I wanted to maintain the cooling for that, and also that helps suck some of the hot air off the engine. So I've just got that wired up to the key switch on the Predator. I also had to cut the crankshaft down so that I could get my battery in its original location. And no big deal there, you just take a angle grinder and cut that. You can see I cut it probably 2 inches shorter than I needed to. But what you can do is just measure from roughly the front clip here back, because that's about where the battery's at. So I think before it stuck out to about here. You can lop maybe 2 inches off of the crankshaft. It's a very long crankshaft to begin with. Also, we opted to leave the throttle and ignition where it's at. So all you do is reach down and turn that on. Not a big deal. It saves quite a bit of work with relocating it. I can't remember on the last video if I had gotten my drive shaft hooked up or not. But what I've got there is a Performance 670 adapter hub. It's just their universal hub. And you need to drill that out using your rubber kind of harmonic balancer as a guide. Drill that out and tap it. And I think I kind of covered that in the last video, hopefully. So if you have any questions on the specifics of that, I can help you out. Other than that, to operate the PTO, you just kick this key on, and that's it. Then your stock PTO switch works. So The starting procedure is pretty simple. You just pull the choke down here, turn the key to start, set your throttle, and then you can drive around normally until you need to mow. Then you just kick this key on, which almost acts as like a safety, so that unless that switch is on, the PTO will not operate. So you turn that on, hit your PTO switch, and you're off and running. So I think that covers about everything. I guess one other thing I did is cut for the exhaust to fit through right there. You can kind of see that. But otherwise, that's all I can think of. Oh, I did drill a hole right here, a 1-inch hole with a hole saw, and that is just below the stock hole in the frame. So if you go to this hole in the frame and kind of go maybe an inch down, an inch over, that will line you up with your oil drain plug, and that way you can get in there with a 12mm socket to remove your drain plug. You can also get in right through here. It's hard to show, but with just a 12mm wrench. However, it's hard to get enough torque to bust that plug loose. So we just put a hole there. And unfortunately, it's a 12mm thread. And so I wanted to put like a pipe nipple in there with a drain out here to keep it nice and clean. But that's 12mm thread. So I'm going to try to see if I can find a 12mm nipple online and do that in the future. But anyway, I'll shut the hood and start it up for you here. So like I said, I hooked the fan up to the ignition down here. So you'll hear that kick on. Our throttle's at idle now, so I'm going to turn that up just a smidge. Shouldn't need to choke because it's warm. And we'll see what happens. There you go. I do believe the factory fuel gauge still works. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not sure if it's mechanical or electronic through the wiring that I didn't hook up, but what I might do is add some gas there and confirm that. But not a big deal. You can just look in the tank, see your fuel level. So anyway, that's it. If you have any other questions, go ahead and let me know and I will respond in the comments. Otherwise, like and subscribe. I'm excited to be getting close to the 1,000 subscriber threshold. I'm about 13 away, so pretty exciting there. And that's it. So I'll see you guys on the next video.